Hi, folks. This is JC with Chapter 22 of my book entitled Todd. Chapter 22 Todd. Todd prepared a standard disclosure document for their franchise operation. This document, called the Uniform Franchise Offering Circular, or UFOC, is required of all companies by the Federal Trade Commission. Todd also made sure each and every law and requirement was met to form a franchise in his state. He had absorbed so much in the last few weeks, since he and Junior and Jim had agreed to be parts of a franchise, he almost wondered if there was no limit to the knowledge he could store. It was spooky. It was a quiet, cool Sunday morning, and Todd sat at the kitchen table, sipping on a cup of coffee. The franchising procedure had been going well, as would be expected by anyone who knew Todd and knew how flawlessly and doggedly he approached any task. And to think he would not be completely knowledgeable about anything he attempted would be to not know Todd Daniels. He was a man who never forgot anything and who completely understood everything he studied. The phone rang, and Todd already knew who it was. He had spent the evening yesterday with Leslie. He wondered how the level of excitement, love, and passionate feelings could remain so high between them, even though they were together almost every day. He wondered about it, but he never questioned it. He just reveled in it, thankful he could be so fortunate. Todd picked up the phone and said, "Hello, this is Todd Daniels. May I help you?" Les' voice answered, "You could, honey, but I don't think you will." "I don't think you would." "Don't be too sure," chuckled Todd. "Are you coming over?" There was a slight hesitation. Todd said, "Hello." "Oh, yes. Todd, I was thinking, could we have breakfast somewhere instead of me coming there? Maybe Hometown Buffet. I hear it's pretty good on Sundays." Todd immediately felt a strange tension. "Uh-oh, something's wrong," he told himself. "Are you okay? Is anything wrong?" he asked. "I don't know. Let's have breakfast and I'll tell you about it. It may be nothing, but I'd assume your mom didn't hear anything that might worry her, okay? Meet me at Hometown Buffet at 8:30. "Okay, see you there," and he hung up the phone. Todd got to the cafe at 8:20, 10 minutes early, and Leslie was already there waiting for him. He gave her a hug and a little kiss on the cheek and steered her through the door into the cafe. She started to say something about why they were there, but he said, "Oh, wait, let's get our table and food first. I'm hungry." They picked a booth away from everyone for privacy and went through the food aisles and loaded up with a little each of every conceivable thing. Then Todd went back for salad. Les brought coffee for both and a glass of water. When they finished, there wasn't a whole lot of room left on the table. Todd quipped, "I assume you won't want to spread a map out on the table." "No," replied Leslie. She didn't smile at Todd's quip. He poured boysenberry syrup over a cranberry hot cake and took a bite. Then he sprinkled Tabasco hot sauce over home-fried potatoes and an egg fried over easy, and he mixed them together. He filled his fork and made his hand fly like a little airplane and flew into his mouth. Yummy," he said. "This is delicious." Then he looked at Les and asked, "You're not eating, little girl?" Les took a few bites of her food, but without any fanfare, and she washed it down with a gulp of water. Todd could see Les was nervous, and he said, "All right, dear girl, what's wrong?" Les took a small tape player from her purse and put it on the table. She said, "I got a phone call last night. It scared me. It was a man's voice. I was sitting right next to the main receiver answering machine, and I picked up the phone there. As soon as he started talking, I thought he sounded strange, so I said, 'Wait, hold it.' I dropped the phone. 'And what did you say?' And I turned the recorder on. He said, 'Is this Leslie Foley?' I told him it was and asked who he was. He didn't answer. He said, 'You and Mr. Daniels should not start franchises in other towns for his store.' I asked, 'What do you mean? Who are you?' He said, 'Who I am is not important yet, but it could be. Just don't start franchises. It's a bad idea, and bad things could happen. Who knows what could happen?' Now I got a little upset. I asked, "Who the hell are you and why are you saying this?" He said, "You talk to your boyfriend. Tell him to stop this franchise crap. One business is enough. Don't go on with this. It'll be bad for both of you." Then he hung up. "Todd, what's going on?" asked Leslie. Todd stopped eating now and he looked around them. It was a reflex action, and afterwards he wondered why he did it and wished he hadn't. He saw Leslie tense up when she saw him look around. "Are we all right here?" she asked. Todd smiled to maybe relieve her nervous reaction and said, "Yes, sweet, we're fine. It was just a reflex action. I'm sure there's no one here we need to worry about. Now play the tape for me." Les checked the volume to be sure it wouldn't be too loud, so it wouldn't be heard by anyone else, and when she had satisfied herself it was just right, she pushed the play button. They listened intently as the tape played its message. Todd could feel himself examining each nuance of the man's voice, each small quiver. He thought, "This guy is tall and skinny." No one came to his mind as someone he might know, someone tall and skinny. He asked Les, "Have you seen a tall, skinny man lurking around anywhere?" Les' eyes got big and her mouth dropped open in a surprised look. "Yes, I have," she said. "Why do you ask that?" Then, without waiting for an answer, she continued, "I was walking out of the store a couple of days ago, and I saw a tall, skinny man walking up the sidewalk toward me. I wouldn't have even noticed him, except he turned away a little when I looked at him, like he didn't want me to see him looking at me." Les chuckled. "I thought he might be awed by my exceptional good looks." And Todd smiled at her. "I could understand that," he said. "How old did this fellow look?" he asked. "Try to describe him to me." Les said, "He was tall, over 6 feet, and very skinny, maybe 160 pounds or so, maybe less. He had blondish hair with no hat or cap and blue eyes. He was clean shaven. He had a sharp nose and a medium-sized mouth, and he wore an off-the-rack tannish two-button suit." "And where are you two going on your first date?" "Todd, what?" "Just kidding," grinned Todd. "I was just marveling at your recall of the fellow." Faking a frown, Les said, "Hey, fella, I have to keep up with you." And they both had a laugh about it. Then a worried look came on Todd's face. He looked away at nothing, a deeply thinking look. Leslie noticed this unusual expression and asked, "What do you think we should do about it?" Todd said, "It's still early. How about we call Junior and Jim and see if they've gotten any warnings?" Leslie agreed, and they quickly finished their meals and left the eatery. They went to Todd's house to make the call and to now mention this to Betsy. Les pulled up into the driveway and Todd parked at the curb, and they went inside together. Betsy was up and around, still sipping her first cup of Folgers. She called out to them as they came through the door. "Hey, kids, I got a phone call this morning. It seems someone doesn't want us to expand our business." This is the end of chapter 22 of my book that I call Todd. Thank you very much.